welcome to BCC Virtual Racing, and tonight's race is the Duchy Estate back in Harrogate for another short sharp crit race of 19.7 kilometres. Let me just get rid of that banner up there. So 19.7 kilometres, 6 laps, 3 kilometres each, and 273 metres of climbing in total, about 41 metres per lap. So not overly hilly, but some short, sharp hills, which will make a difference. A good field tonight from BCC, some 27 riders, and they're starting in the B pen, 1 minute 15 seconds away from the start. All riders starting at the same time. And before the start, a quick look at the course. There's a profile of it there. So it's a 1.7 or 1.8 kilometre lead-in, followed by 6 laps of 3 kilometres each. So riders will get lapped, and we're hoping tonight that the Category A riders from BCC will manage to hold off the B riders who caught them convincingly on Monday night's race. Now 40 seconds away from the start. So 5 riders in Category A. I think we have 13 or 14 in Category B, about a good field in C, 7 riders, and as always is the problem with D's, a rapidly dwindling field as riders get promoted, 4 riders still nonetheless. Tonight I think the course will probably suit the larger riders with the power, able to get up over the short sharp hills very quickly, but 6 times up those hills may tire some of the riders. Will be interesting to see. A return I've noted in the start list tonight of Johnson, not having ridden for some time. Hopefully he is going to ride, he's on the list, but let's have a look at the riders now on the start list, on the start, and off they go. Trying to capture someone there. So with Category B at the moment, we've seen the usual suspects in there. Stone, Marcus, the entire group together. As the riders move off through the centre of Harrogate in the Millionaires Row, I think it's called, as they're just about to come into one of the most expensive places to live in the UK. Downhill section here before it levels off, and the hill is on Cornwall Road. It leads up to the sprint banner and also the finish banner, I'm going to say, on this particular course. Just having a look over to check the YouTube live stream, which shows a very zoomed in view. I'm not quite sure why, but nonetheless, I'm recording it as well, so if it doesn't work for whatever reason, I'll upload it. Who knows why it's doing that. Anyway, back to the action. Short, sharp hill. In fact, this one is so short that Strava doesn't even record it as a segment. No, not this one, sorry. It's coming up yet. We'll move forward in the field and see if we can pick up the main groups. Won the Category C again for BCC on Monday night. Quick check, he did indeed. Quickly in there as well, Category C. He's been riding well recently. Tough. Often becomes isolated by himself. So if he can stay with the group today will be key. There's Nixon at 1.4 kilometres in. Just coming to the end of the lead-in. Maybe the rest of you can see YouTube properly if you can. Let me know in the comments section on the screen. If not, let me know and I'll upload a recorded copy of it. And there is the sprint banner just passed. That will be the finish line, so it's a slightly uphill finish, which is not what riders will be looking forward to there's Lancia back in the field again. Oh, already being distanced a little bit from the leading group by the looks of it, but I expect him to pick that up a little bit. He often does this, drifts off a little bit and then comes back a little bit later on. Certainly not to be underestimated by any means. And even further forward in the field goes Davis. Freewheeling down the hill, but not in a super top, not quite enough gradient to do that. And already it looks as if the group has split up. You can see one group's just gone around the corner. There's Campbell with this group as well. So it looks like the A's are 6 seconds ahead of this B group already. Again, there's Davis just sitting here for a moment, so he seems to be right up the front of the B group. I think that's the correct way round. And up ahead there is Stoneham at the back of the A group. A very interesting race for the A's on Monday night. Stoneham did a great attack, that is his style these days. Managed to pull out a minute or so away from Tom, who himself was a minute ahead of the chasing pack, but Charles and Duchy put in a fantastic performance, as did a number of other riders, to catch those leading A riders and overtake them just coming up to the finish line. And here is 6% gradient, so a fantastic result. In fact, the first, let's have a look, 5 B riders were faster than all of the leading BCCA riders. So the A riders really need to get their act together, but it just goes to show the power of the peloton. Stoneham and Tom a little bit isolated by themselves, and it was a large chasing group that managed to hunt them down and overtake them, and that was despite starting 1 minute further back. So Stoneham, I saw Lisa there as well, so she's still there up the front with the jersey already, I think she had. This is the front of the Category A race, just as the sun goes down there. The moon comes out, so I should say. There is Tom, 4.4 kilometres into the first lap now. Stoneham, Tom, and there is Blackham, looking strong right next to Lisa with the green jersey already, and Charles is 3 seconds off. I predicted last race that Charles would not survive the push towards the end, but he proved me wrong and did just that. In fact, he had a fantastic race, but not sure what's happened today. He had a good TT time this week as well, so maybe a little bit overtired, I'm not sure. Maybe it's tactical, maybe he's going to drop back and pick up the faster B riders again and move forward, but he is now 4 seconds behind Lisa, who herself is drifting off the back of the A riders, and Blackham, who is a rider to contend with, particularly on this type of course. He's a strong rider overall, but I think these little bumps in here 6 times will suit him quite well. He can hold a very high power output for a short time. So moving back through the field, Lisa 6 seconds behind Stoneham now, Charles a further 4 seconds back, and then Davis and the chasing B's. Just click on Davis, he starts moving around. Can't seem to grab him, there he is. I think a further 6 seconds behind. So this is, there are a couple of B riders further up, but this is the main chasing pack. Look behind and see what's going on. So Campbell is there as well. I've heard from the team doctor he's not feeling great today, so hopefully he can hang on in there with this group. He certainly won't be attacking from the front, but let's see how he feels a little bit later on. Looking for other key riders from BCC. Lancia. Where is Lancia in relation to Campbell and Davis? Looks to be about 5 5 seconds further back, as far as I can tell. And moving further back in the field. So key riders I'm trying to find, the C's, B's and A's all beginning to intermix now. Not by himself, but in a never decreasing group with Nixon in there though, so it's a good ride so far from Nixon. Reed has fallen 5 seconds back, one of the largest riders in the field, so these hills won't be suiting him, but he's a strong rider nonetheless. But he is 7 seconds ahead quickly, but there's Jury in there as well. And Mayhew Smith in this group, so Mayhew Smith, Jury are now in with the leading C riders. It's a little bit of a surprise. I'd expect both of them to be a little bit further ahead. Haven't yet seen Khalik, who had entered tonight. There's Shannon, a little bit further back, 2-3 seconds behind Quigley. In fact, that is the group just ahead on screen now. No sign of Khalik. And here we have what will be a battle. Littlewoods recently moved up to B's, but then there is a repeat of an age-old battle. Stoneham just here on screen now, and Collier will be really keen to hang on to the back of Stoneham for as long as he can. Stoneham has proved the better rider of recent, but I wouldn't underestimate Collier just yet. Stoneham, we'll get back to him, just see what sort of power he's pushing out. So just as I said that, the power jumped up going up this hill, short and steep, up to about 9.5% I think. Stoneham's good at pushing out high power output over a short distance, and a good sprinter as well. Oliver White at 6.8 kilometres. Riders at the moment. It will start to get quite difficult shortly, as the leading riders will be lapping these riders towards the back very soon. Let's keep hunting. There's Albert May. Just saw him, if I can click on him. There he is. Albert May at 6.9 kilometres in a small group there of about six riders. Here we go toward further back of the field. Jones, Peter Jones, category C. Alongside him, or just behind him in that group, is Morton. Now at 10 minutes in, 6.8 kilometres. Jones riding well, and there is behind him is Cullen in category C. Hopefully he's on a road bike. He had the misfortune of accidentally choosing a time trial bike on Monday evening, and interestingly he put out much the same power as Telford for the entire race, but finished some 30 minutes behind him, and that's all down to the most of it that will be down to the TT bike. Not a keen hill climber, but needs to hang on to someone. And there is Telford and his nemesis Rob Jones. Can't quite get on him yet. There he is, Telford and Jones. And I did see Lord there. I think she was ahead of Telford and Jones, if I'm not mistaken. But while I see the A's on screen, I'll move right back to them now. And at 9.9 kilometres, 10k now into the race, so only 9 kilometres left. So pace is high, and it's still high in fact. Tom's heart rate 188. So a great opportunity to attack, but will anyone give it a try? Stoneham might. He likes to keep trying, and I think it's a tactic that these sorts of courses will serve him well ultimately if he can just hold those attacks. As the green jersey, So missed him putting in some effort somewhere, but he clearly has. So Stoneham, Tom at 10.3 kilometres. In fact, they have just passed the Category D riders. And I will try and pick up. There is Blackham. Blackham has not managed to hang on to the leading A riders. Is now some 15 seconds further back, but chasing on behind. I saw a brief glimpse of Kalik. There he is, just about to pass Lord. So Kalik seems to be forging ahead. Or is he? No, he's not. I made a mistake. He's about to be lapped himself. This is most unusual. It's unbelievable, really. Not sure what he's doing at 243 watts and a heartbeat of 136. He really isn't trying. Something must be wrong. And it just goes to show he led the race on Monday night, or much of it in his category, for a long way, and was beaten by Davis on the line, I think. We just check the results from Monday night. I'm sure that's the case. He was indeed. Davis beat him on the sprint by 1 second. And that, I think, was down to the masterful performance by Davis as usual. And there is Davis coming up behind Kalik. It's almost hard to say, really. Davis has just gone past him. He's just lapped him. Something's wrong here. There's Davis still up the front at 11 kilometres along with Davis. Sorry, I'm having another look at Kalik. He's joined in with this group, but 3 kilometres down on the leaders. Something must have gone wrong. Give him that for the moment until I find out further information from his team. That will be doing the Bs much good in the points race. Just an opportunity for a very brief super tuck here. 1 or 2 riders in there now in super tuck. So further back in the field, where is Campbell and Co? Let's see if we can pick them up. There's Lisa and Marcia. A minute behind. There's Charles with one other rider, but he's now still really in no man's land. He's dropped off the A's, fallen back through the leading B's. He is ahead of Kalik at least, which is good news. And 4 seconds behind Charles is this chasing group containing Lisa and Lancia at 11.9. They are going to catch Charles, I have no doubt about that. And at that point I'm sure he'll stick with his group. Try my very best not to miss the end on this one. So quickly back through the field. There's Campbell. Campbell's in this group of about 20 riders, so as expected, not on full performance tonight, has drifted away from Davis and Lancia and Co. He's now with the faster Category C riders. Has just overtaken Lord in Category D. I think he'll be comfortable enough in this group. It should take him through to the end. But let's see what else is happening further back in the field. Riders, there's Taff, still with the group, nice to see, at 12 kilometres, about 2 minutes back at this stage from the leading group. And behind Taff next we have Reed, who seems to have, difficult to tell, but seems to have taken the lead in Category C, accompanied by Dury, Category B. I would expect to be further up at this stage. Up there is Shannon and Jury often end up together. Littlewood, Stoneham and Collier, and I think Mayhew Smith all together. So this is an interesting field. There are different capabilities of riders all together. I think at this stage, 12.5 kilometres, they will likely stay together until the end. Nixon, he's about 14 seconds behind Collier, Stoneham, Mayhew Smith, so seems to be riding well. Quigley about another 15 seconds behind Nixon by the looks of it. At 12.2 kilometres. Get back up to the front of the race. So 4 kilometres remaining. Where are all of the A riders? So Stoneham and Tom together. So the ongoing battle between Stoneham and Tom continues. I thought Stoneham was getting the upper hand, but following Tom's win on Monday night, I'm not so sure. Stoneham hasn't made his customary attack at this stage. Perhaps a little. Will likely stay there now for the remaining 3 kilometres. And that is the finish band, which just came into view in the top on the left-hand side of the map view, just on the top right. On the other side of the road at this stage. So at 16 kilometres, let's just find out the chasing group of B riders are going to be, so I can prepare for their finish. He's drifted back as well now to the B riders. So Davis in there. Davis, 207 watts, downhill. And Khalik still making his sorry progress. That's like a caught by. No, it can't be. That's. I'm almost speechless. Gavin Cullen is 3 seconds behind Khalik. Unbelievable performance. In fact, I almost can't believe it. I just keep checking it to make sure that's correct. And in fact, Jones, Peter Jones, Morton, Cullen, all there, bearing down upon Khalik. Almost worth watching this to the end, but haven't got time. Come back to that again. Moving quickly back through the field now, just trying to Campbell. Telford and Jones, a quick check on them. Like to see what's going on. Still together at 12 kilometres. Telford 14.8, just a little bit off the field. And we have Jury, Shannon, Mayhew Smith, Stoneham, Littlewood, Collier, I think all in there. Let's have a look now. 17.7 kilometres as we get to the closing stages of the Category A race. Still being led by Tom in sixth, now second position. Overall, out of 236 riders, it's continually changing, of course, as riders rotate around in the group. And this downhill section is an opportunity just to rest a little, but it doesn't look as if any of these riders are. They've just overtaken Lord by the looks of it. For the second time, it's the last opportunity to really push in a bit of a, make a bit of an effort here. Stoneham's just moved ahead of Tom, but anything could change there. We've seen this switch back and forward on many occasions. 1.5 kilometres to go at 22 minutes 40 seconds. Not quite sure where I'm putting my money today. At the moment, I think I'll go for Stoneham. He's sitting in the bunch, waiting, thinking about it, preparing for the attack. Heartbeat customary 200 or close to it. Comfortable in the power output. Riders not letting up on these hills at all. They're just pushing quite hard into the red there for most of the riders in this leading group. And we now have about 700 metres remaining to the finish. The finish banner, which is also the sprint banner, is just coming into view in the top right hand of the screen. So they go around a right hand bend. And the finish will come into view shortly after that. This is Cornwall Road. The last climb for this leading group of Cat A riders. Who's going to make a push first? Let's have a look. Tom is still trailing by 3 seconds. Doesn't look as if Tom has dropped off the back. Pace has been too high. It looks as if Stoneham is going to take it. I can't get back to Stoneham. Not without. I don't think so. There goes Stoneham now. 8th place currently. He's not going to get first or up there in the podium position, I don't think, by the looks of it. He's moving forward though, he's moving forward rapidly. 9 watts per kilo, he's still moving forward. And he crosses the line in about 8th position, I think. To the start and see if I can get all the way forward. The challenge here is trying to get back to the front of the field before the riders actually finish, but let's see if we can do that. There's Charles coming up to the finish line. Lisa and Charles together. Lancia is in that group as well, so here we have a battle on. So it looks like Lancia, Charles and Lisa in this group. Davis, I'm not sure where he is. I'm not sure at this stage whether he's behind or in front. I think behind. I'm sure he'd be shouting at me if he isn't. The final climb up Cornwall Road. Let's watch Lancia. I fancy him for the win out of these three. Lancia, Charles and Lisa. Wouldn't underestimate any of them, but Lancia's got some serious power when he wants to use it. The other two aren't exactly slow either, so let's see what happens. Just have to focus on Charles, 319 watts just there. Lancia, but only just. Two are really right next to each other. This is where it gets difficult. Lisa's hanging on in there as well. It's a good performance from her today. Charles, Lisa, Lancia, all right next to each other. Let's see who goes. Leading riders begin to wind it up already. Charles at 5.7 watts. Lancia's not responding yet. Lisa's not responding yet. Now is the time to go. Are they just going to sit there? Charles is going for it, 8.2 watts per kilo. Lancia's come out at 12 watts per kilo. Lancia pulls ahead of Charles. Looks like Lancia's going to get it. Followed by Charles, then Lisa, I think is the correct order there. Let's see who's coming up next in the field. Not sure if any of our riders are there at this stage. I've lost the other B riders. clear at 18.8. Ahead of him we have Littlewood. Looks like a good performance from Littlewood, right next to Jury. No sign of Shannon. Right to lap. There is Shannon. Oh, good performance from Shannon. 4 seconds further ahead. In fact, he is right next to Stoneham and Chris Reed. This could be an interesting battle for the finish. So we have Reed, Stoneham, Shannon. Just about to lap Cullen. No sign of Cleek. He must be right off the back somewhere. Maybe he's gone home, I'm not sure. So here we are, coming up to the finish now. Out of these riders, Reed's big rider, he's got some power if he needs to use it, but Stoneham's got a great response and a good kick on him. Shannon, also possible, but I don't think so on this occasion. Stoneham winding it up already, 8 watts per kilo. Shannon has not responded. He is pulling away from, in fact this is going to be good. They're going to pass, in fact they're just about to pass Cleek right on the line. So that looked like it was Stoneham followed by Shannon. And now let's see who else we can find still on the field. Or on course I should say. I can see there at 19.2 kilometres, looks as if he's coming up to the finish next. Not sure who's ahead of him. A quick look just in case there is anyone there that I can see. Doesn't look like it. So we'll focus on Nixon for the moment. No other BCC riders around him. He's now at 19.3 kilometres and 30 minutes. Just going over the 30 minutes into the race. Been a good race from him as well. I can see just on that same screen it looks as if Telford has pulled away from Jones by about 200 metres at this stage. Not sure when that happened. We'll come back to that in a moment. Let's give Nixon the opportunity to cross the line. Nixon just crossing the line now with a final sprint. And we'll just switch to Telford so I can see the gap between him and Jones. This is Rob Jones. 28 seconds is the gap between the two of them. Not sure where that happened. Maybe the hills have got the better of Jones on this occasion. Morton though is 30 seconds further ahead, along with Peter Jones 6 seconds further up. Now let's have a look at this. There we go, the Cleek-Cullen battle. Never would I have believed that I'd be saying those two names in the same sentence. Almost worth paying for this particular race. Now is Cleek, whatever the problem is, just toying with Cullen? It is difficult to say. I don't think we have any other riders up in front. Now there's me up there. So it looks like Cullen and Cleek are the next riders. So Cleek, just a fraction short of Category A, has been schooled by Davis on how to manage 3.99 watts per kilo, but Cullen's only just been promoted to C, so a gulf of ability between these two riders, a gulf inabilities I should say. So here we are now, Cleek at 19 kilometres. If I were Cleek, I'd just retire now, but maybe he's going for team points, so if he is, that's good for him. Great team spirit, but on an individual basis, I think he should be worried about his contract for next year. It's not what we expect of this young rider. Oh, he's at a whole 1.5 watts per kilo just there. That's oh, he's gone up to 6.4 now. He will know, of course, as will Cullen, that the finish is just around the corner. It should say on their screens how far left. Slight gradient, 2%, and as the riders turn the right-hand bend, it will level off, and the finish line, which is also the sprint banner, will come into view. Kalik just sneaks ahead of Cullen. Cullen, one rider between the two of them, back together again. That is Kalik on the Tron bike in yellow, and Kalik goes for it now. 9.3 watts per kilo. Cullen has not responded much at all. Kalik's just done enough just to pull ahead and show Cullen that he's boss. 1 second ahead now, so it is going to be Kalik crossing the line ahead of Cullen. So if he managed that kind of sprint, what has he been doing for the rest of the race? Answers in the comments, please. Next up looks like Morton. In fact, no, I'm mistakenly, Jones is just ahead of him, Peter Jones. Morton's closing the gap though, but I don't think we'll close it before this race finishes. Jones now, finish line coming into view. He's often good for a quick sprint as well. In fact, he's pulling away slightly from Morton. He is indeed, just gained another second there. It's down to the sprint as well, of course, or increased power. And as he crosses the finish line now, let's have a look at Morton. Is he going to respond by himself at this stage? That makes it always a little bit more difficult. And there's Morton crossing the finish line, and next on course looks to be Telford and Jones, and the gap has come down dramatically for these two riders. It was a minute, I think, not that long ago. It's now only 7 seconds. It's a big ask for Jones to catch up with Telford. That is him just disappearing over the hill. This is the last hill. There is very little distance left for him to make a difference. But it looks to have been another good race between the two of them. I'd like to have seen how that played out throughout the race as they changed positions. It's not going to change between now and the finish, so I will let Telford cross the line. Jones is going to come in about 15 seconds later if they keep the current pace up. I don't think we have any other riders. Oh, Lord is still there, about 7 seconds. Oh, let's have a look. 20 seconds behind Jones, 35 behind Telford, so it looks as if she's had a great race as well. May be the last rider on course for BCC. Have a quick check just to make sure. I think that looks like it. And there's Jones coming up to the final part of the climb now. So I will end the transmission there tonight. Thank you all for watching. Next race is on Monday evening.